have in the studios Peter Ameh, who is the National Secretary of the CUPP, and from our offsite studio is Michael Olugbemi, who is the Programs Director, Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative. Gentlemen, very warm welcome to Newsnight. The oil and gas industry is, like a blaze, you want to say, with the back and forth of the pricing of petrol. So CUPP, I'm going to start with Peter Ameh, the National Secretary of the CUPP. Were you not hasty in your release of that press statement condemning both the refiner and the off-taker, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, saying that it bought per litre 898 naira from Dangote, which of course the Dangote Refinery has blatantly refuted in a statement they just issued. Peter, let's start with you.
It wasn't an hasty decision at all, because what Nigerian masses suffer on a daily basis. If you live in Nigeria and you go to work in Nigeria and earning the kind of salary that Nigerian workers are earning, you will know that in fact that response was not as fast as it should be. For me, we must condemn. I was one of those who was very proud about the feat that Dangote Refinery achieved with 650,000 BPD per day. It's a big history for Nigeria. It's something that has brought Nigeria a big glory. But the issue is that with NNPC has shown interest to create bottlenecks that will undermine the benefit that would have accrued to Nigerians, when with this refinery. There's no cost of landing, there's no import tariff, there's no other expenses that would have increased if we're importing the PMS from overseas. But the problem we're having right now is NNPC trying to bring the same tactics and mentality that crippled the Nigerian investment in our refineries across the nation. And every right-thinking Nigerian must continue to talk to NNPC to answer and allow a free flow of this product across Nigeria at a cost that will be beneficial to our people, at a cost that will not add more burden to the expenses that the Nigerian masses are already carrying. And if we have a government that is in charge and truly in charge.
But we do have a government
that is in charge. I know we have a government that is in charge.
The government is in charge.
No, I'm not saying we don't have a federal government. There's a person elected to run the affairs that is in charge and truly responsible to the earning of the masses. The people at the NNPC that made this statement today that has been refuted by the Dangote Refinery should all be sacked. They should be fired from their job, including the MD and the spokesman, because you cannot deliberately mislead Nigerians. You cannot deliberately come and try to exploit Nigerians with this kind of huge for 898. That is just the cost of bringing from Dangote Refinery. That means they are suggesting that Nigerians are going to buy this PMS at over 1,000 naira. So we as an association, as a people, we are concerned about the interest of our people. We are concerned about the continuous manipulation of in the oil industry that has impoverished our people, because that's what they call cost push effect. The reason why we're in this pain today is because at the first, there was an impulsive and irrational removal of the fuel subsidy without proper planning and structure by May 29, 2023. And that has affected our people. That caused transportation costs to go up by over 300%. The promises of CNG buses was an afterthought that came up after the whole price of fuel had increased. So we must, as a people, continue to constructively ask government to do right by our people, to provide necessary things that will continue to reduce the suffering of the masses, and provide public transportation system that is effective enough. We were in the talking about kits, for people to come and fix kit and supply kit.
Well, Peter, let's leave that issue, because we have a member of the presidential committee here in the studios. Let's hear Michael Olugbemi on the compressed natural gas. It's so slow, in taking off, and 99.9% of Nigerians are still, using petrol. for their vehicular movements and the rest. Why is this so? Just a little over 130 CNG centers in the country. That's grossly inadequate to a driving population of over 40, 50 million Nigerians. What do you say, Olugbemi?
Engineer Michael Olugbemi is the name. First thing I have to say that thanks for having me on your show. But more importantly, I have to say that we are having the wrong argument. This time last year, we had just 7 conversion centers in Nigeria. We promised Nigerians that within 1 year, we're going to have 100 of them. Already, before the end of the year, just 9 months into the year, we already have 130. A lot of Nigerians are keen into the conversion initiative, the attempt of which is to move Nigerians from this addiction to the petrol that you are showing, which has caused a lot of pain to Nigerians. The pain that Nigerians should be talking about, I think the CUPP are talking about the wrong pain. The CUPP is talking about the pain as a result of transfer pricing. But the reality of the matter is that the pain that Nigeria has been put through is the economic debt of almost $8 to $10 billion for the past 25 years that Nigeria has been racking up because of our addiction to petrol. So what the CUPP should be talking about, if they want to make the lives of Nigerians better, because Nigeria is a gas country that has over 235 TCF of natural gas under our feet, and gas currently is priced at less than almost 70% discount to petrol, whether it is local or domestic or foreign, wherever it is. Gas is much, much cheaper than petrol. We should be talking about moving the country to natural gas. Nigeria should be using our comparative advantage to ensure that this country and this economy is growing very fast. We should not be buying PBMS, whether it's at 897, whether it's at 1,001. Our neighbors are already buying it at 1,500, 1,600. So who knows where the price is going to end up at? So we're having the wrong argument. CUPP should, instead of dismissing the conversion of kits, instead of dismissing the initiative of Mr. President to move Nigeria towards the future of gas, instead of dismissing the reality that Nigeria is a gas country that is already wasting gas, the second largest flarer of gas in the world, flaring 30% of its gas, injecting another 30%, and only utilizing 40%, of which only 25% of that 40% is actually utilized in Nigeria, and the balance is exported to the rest of the world. India has more than 6.5 million vehicles that is running on CNG as a result of a court order to ensure that they have clean air. And India is doing so with gas that is actually purchased from Nigeria. How does that make any sense? India turns around and sells us petrol, and then we turn around and sell them gas, which is cheaper. India runs the economy cheaper, more competitive, grows faster than Nigeria, has a bigger GDP than Nigeria, growing itself using Nigerian CNG and Nigerian natural gas. Japan does the same. Use natural gas to power its industries, use natural gas purchased from Nigeria to power both its industries as well as its transportation sector, and then turn around and sell Nigeria petrol cars, Isuzu, Mitsubishi, Toyota, and Honda. Doesn't make any sense. Nigeria should start using the comparative advantage that God has given this country, and that is what Mr. President has done. And we are helping to lead that charge. We have begun a journey of 1,000 steps. Started with the first one, and instead of dismissing the early beginning, we invite the CUPP to sensitize the other political parties. Moreover, almost all political parties in this country, including the ones that are led by CUPP, campaigned on the basis of removal of fuel subsidy. They all know that Nigeria does not have the capacity to continue to pay fuel subsidy. This country, after all, last year budgeted 18 trillion naira. After PIA had already said that we should not, that there's no paying subsidy is illegal, the country's budgeted 18 trillion naira for the national budget that excluded subsidy. However, by the middle of the year, by the time Mr. President took the dials on May 29, Nigeria had only earned 3.5 trillion naira in revenue, but had already expended 5.5 trillion naira in subsidy that was not budgeted for. That means almost the entire 5.5 trillion naira Nigeria spent on subsidy as at May 29 of last year were illegally spent, and also they were actually borrowed. So this is not sustainable. So we are having the wrong argument about petrol, where what Nigeria should be doing is refining our petrol and selling it and exporting it to the rest of the world, and utilizing the natural gas which we are flaring, wasting, and injecting into the ground where it is not needed every year.
Very well said, Michael. But the argument on petrol will still subsist because of the overriding interest of the people and the nation at large. And just like you said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So we've started rightly, you said, in the compressed natural gas revolutionizing, our vehicular movements, and of course the industries should spread to the industries so that production can be cheaper and faster. So, but let me come to Ameh Peter again about the issue of petroleum pricing in the country. Now, Dangote's refinery is up and running, and more than 70 trucks, as at the last count, have loaded PMS. Why do we continue to depend on road haulage to distribute our PMS? Dangote Refinery has the capacity to distribute PMS in barges, and just like we heard the Vice President, Mr. Edwin, said, Mosimi can take the PMS, that's NNPC's receptor depot. The receptor terminal is at, where do you call this place in Lagos now? Around the Takwa Bay. I'll remember the name as we go on. And there are several depots, scattered around the Niger Delta that can take them in Ogara, in Warri, in Calabar, and the rest. Why road? Peter?
I think that's where the NNPC should concentrate its effort, not about trying to see how much it could, make sure life become more difficult for Nigeria by increasing the cost of PMS by liter. Because if the NNPC, just like the Vice President said, that it will bring down the cost of this thing as you go along to the southeast, the south-south, that if you have to take them in barges through the sea, you have to bring out and connect those who want to connect to directly to them and then pass it through the pipeline. It's also possible. And if NNPC is not investing in that direction, and what NNPC is doing is to concentrate on price where cheap profit at the expense of the comfort of the Nigerian people is their interest, then we must all stand and reject that. Because for Dangote has no problem. I think he has done what he needs to do to bring pride to this country, to be able to invest. We'll be talking about enterprise economy. The issue is that why we continue to have problem with our dollar is because we import almost everything. And Dangote is going to help with the forest and a lot of other opportunities that will come. But the issue now is the NNPC acting as a wage between the people, the market, and supply-demand processes. NNPC must free the process, allow people to buy, allow market forces to determine this price, and also look at the cost of production so that Nigerians will not bear so much cost on how much they buy per liter. But you are talking about I don't want to talk about my friend that is the air station. I'm talking about CNG buses. You cannot be doing some assorting with the issue of you want to provide kits, you want to provide CNG buses, and you are talking about what has been lost to the subsidy regime. You are not talking about the cost of governance. This government is not even looking at that. It's not maintaining. It's saying something else and doing something else. If the government is really sincere, the kind of money we spend on buying private jet and buying yachts, wouldn't have people come up, would have been reinvested this money in trying to make sure that whatever way we can supply this thing through pipelines to Warri and to other depot stations across the nation that will bring down the cost of this thing will be on the front burner with the NNPCL, because the NNPCL is more of a problem than a solution. It's not interested, because if you look at the last 3 weeks, the kind of problem we have been having discussing whether Dangote will sell at this cost, Dangote will not sell at this cost, is coming from the NNPC. What the NNPC should do now with this advantage that is not going to be paying for subsidy anymore, it should hands off his hand, take a better position, and then do a cost analysis of what we should do with our refineries. If we are selling them, we give them to investors who are ready to take this thing from our hands and then make life more bearable for our people, because transportation costs affect goods and services, and you cannot take that from the table.
Yes, indeed, Ameh Peter. We don't have much time, but let me bring in Michael Olugbemi again. Michael, what is the cost effectiveness of the CNG, particularly the kits? Are they manufactured in Nigeria? Are they imported?
Currently, most of the kits that we have in country, almost all of them are imported. But we're already working on to bring in manufacturers. We are working with the Ministry of Steel and a number of our key partners to ensure that before the end of next year, some assembly as well as some manufacturing will take place in country. These are the opportunities we need to be talking about, not about petrol, a dying product that is unclean, that is dirty, that is bad for the environment, that is expensive, that is unreliable in supply, whose price is set whether there's a war between Ukraine and Russia, and whether there's a Middle East crisis, then the price of crude oil goes up, and the Nigerian people have to pay that price. We have a product in Nigeria, which is natural gas, which is cheaper, cleaner, safer, more reliable. It's safer. And it's also more reliable in the sense that it's much more plentiful across Nigeria. 30 of Nigeria, 36 states has natural gas under our feet. The gas field that was commissioned by President Buhari in December of 2022 has 500 BCF, that's a billion cubic feet of gas there in Bauchi and Gombe states. So everywhere in Nigeria has natural gas. Why are we so addicted? That's why I keep saying that CUPP and all the other folks that are, instead of us like to concentrate on criticism, use your platform to promote the adoption of compressed natural gas. Let's stop wasting our time about a dying product. Petrol is a dying product. Even the rest of the world is already moving away from it. People are moving to CNG, people are moving to hydrogen, technology is taking us to EVs. Why are we focused on something that is not creating new jobs? At the end of the day, this CNG that we're doing, just in the last 6 or 7 months, we've attracted about $175 million of new investment that have already created over 10,000 jobs. We've seen how 123 new conversion centers are being opened. At least 5 to 10 technicians are employed in each of them. More than 75 refueling stations are being opened. Just on Saturday, we opened a refueling station with NIPCO in Benin. NNPCL is establishing 40. Bovas is opening at least 8 before the end of October. All across the country, mini LNG stations are being opened. That's the opportunity. Nigeria will take our gas, we export to the rest of the world, we create jobs, we build gas vehicles. Our manufacturers, Innocent is manufacturing CNG vehicles, Jet Automobile, even Meccano. We see all these vehicles around. That is the opportunity. Why are we addicted to a product that we see us buying Toyota? A car we do not manufacture. Let us focus on investing in CNG. Let's buy our own Innocent. Let's buy our own Meccano vehicle. Let's buy our own Jet Automobile vehicle. Let's buy our own Luoja tricycle, which is manufactured in Nigeria. 30 young people were being trained as at Thursday in Lagos Shagamu Way, where they are assembling CNG tricycles. Is that not a better deal for Nigerian people? So CU people should abandon this obsession and this addiction. I know, whenever you take anybody addicted on cocaine or any other illegal product or anything like that, then they start feeling agitated. They feel that they should still be addicted to that product. That's what we're experiencing. All of the chaos we're experiencing in the oil space between Dangote, NNPCL, and all the other players is a result of addiction. We should move away from that addiction. All the natural gas we've burnt in the last 5 years is $12.5 billion. The entire income of Nigeria, in terms of revenue, that we share with both state and local government, is not even up to $20 billion a year. And we wasted $12.5 billion worth of gas. So we should move away from this addiction. Gas is better for the economy. Gas will even produce our fertilizer, our food that we need. That is where we need to go.
It's all right, Michael. I wish we have more time to interrogate, the benefits of the CNG, the stride and the investment attraction that it is beginning to generate in the country. And of course, the CUPP, I'm sure they would have some takeaways from your submissions. Gentlemen, Ameh Peter here in the studios with me, National Secretary of the CUPP, and Michael Olugbemi is an engineer and is the Programs Director of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative. Thanks so very much for coming on News 9.